Bears. I'm thankful that has not come to fruition, because I'm pretty sure that would pretty much do it for me. But how do we feel about the Bears' new GM? Because I'm excited about it.
I'm excited, but it's the unknown. I'm excited for the possibility. To me, and Keith, I know you're going to hate me for saying this, and I don't want to turn this into a big argument or anything. I won't be truly optimistic for the Bears until I know that Jay Cutler's not their quarterback anymore. So to me, I'm excited about the new GM. I'm excited about getting a new coach, but I still think they have a glaring problem they need to take care of. And until that happens, I'm still not sold on this team going forward yet.
Keith, I'm going to defer to you ultimately, since you did the research and you wrote the article on this on the fantasygreek.com, as to what we're supposed to make out of the new GM for the Bears. But the reality is, he comes, his pedigree is really good. He comes from the Saints. It's a team that was in transition when he first joined, so he's gotten to see, the comings and goings of some really good and really bad players, the comings and goings of some really good coaches and a couple of bad ones. And, the sky's the limit with this young man. So I'm interested in that. I'm interested to see what movie he's going to make, because right now, John Fox is available. Former coach today became the former coach of the Broncos, and I think he has got to be the number one candidate for the Bears to lock up and sign up.
I just don't know, because now there's been rumors today about Todd Bowles going to the Atlanta Falcons.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, and the Bears are apparently not pursuing a second interview with him. So, what are we leaning towards John Fox? Are the tea leaves? Schefter reported that Fox refused an interview with, or declined an interview with the Jets. So why would he do that if he didn't have something already lined up? So, are there all the tea leaves pointing towards John Fox in Chicago? Would anybody be opposed to John Fox and Jim Schwartz running the defense on that team?
That would be great.
That'd be amazing.
As much as I think Jim Schwartz is a tool of a personality, he runs a hell of a defense.
That's an awful thing to say, Keith.
It's an opinion. I have an opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion.
All right.
I read facial expressions and mannerisms all the time, and I think off the field I would probably want to smack him across the face. But on the field, go ahead, run my defense. If you're going to run it like Buffalo and what you did in Detroit, go ahead, please do that.
Well, and the one coaching position that over the years had the majority of them you could throw into that seems like a tool was defensive coordinators. I mean, one of the biggest tools in history, per a lot of people's opinions, was Buddy Ryan. Yeah. And what he did with the Bears and Arizona and Philadelphia and I want to say Houston / Tennessee, he was phenomenal, but a lot of people said he was a douche. So to me, honestly, having that cocky attitude.
Who are you guys talking about? Who is calling this man a douche?
I am.
All I hear is, okay, but you didn't know him. You haven't talked to him. You haven't sat down.
Nope.
Players that have played for him say nice things about him.
Okay. I'm
just telling you. I think the other side of the story needs to be heard. That's all I'm throwing out there.
Oh, I'm not saying Jim Schwartz is a douche. I'm saying if he is, I think that's one coaching position where being one might actually be a benefit. Seriously, having that chip on your shoulder and being cocky and being douchey helps with a situation like a defensive coordinator. I just think that he, regardless of how his personality is, he's a great defensive coach. Yeah. I would love. Oh my God, him and John Fox would be. I don't even want to think about it. It's making me too giddy.
Now another guy that would be up, I think, for the position is Mike Shanahan, and I raise his name because I think the way the Bears want to go is they want a veteran coach. I think having a young general manager and a young head coach that is potentially, not necessarily, but potentially could become a disaster. And I think you're going to want one of the two to be a veteran guy, and either way. And if it's Shanahan, obviously he's going to bring in his own people, and certainly I think Jim Schwartz would be a great candidate.
Yeah, I would like.
And Shanahan also, the thing that would excite me about him is a lot of people say that as of right now it could be a package deal, him and his son, which I have no problem with Kyle Shanahan being the offensive coordinator.
Well, and you got Shanahan's already familiar with Cutler, and I know you don't want to hear this, Steve, But regardless of whether Cutler is capable of playing good football again or not, the price to cut him or trade him is too much and too punitive. He's going to be the quarterback next year.
And that is the only reason why I am hoping it's Shanahan, because of the fact that he knows how to work with that douchebag. And that one I'm sticking to. I don't care.
Yeah, he didn't have anything. He didn't have anything. He didn't do anything on the field to justify anybody supporting him. I'm just saying that there's just no clear-cut better option right now.
Oh yeah, no, that contract that he was signed to was one of the worst moves I could ever imagine.
Blame Emery. Don't blame Cutler.
Oh yeah, no, Emery's an idiot. I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah. So that now going forward. Trying to think what else happened in our time away here, kids. We had all the playoff games. We had now Peyton Manning looking miserable last night in the Colts 24-13 win, and now it comes out today that he played with a torn quad, and it's just kind of. It seems kind of cheap to me. You know what I mean? To announce the injury after the game. Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say, and I don't know what the NFL's rules are on all this. I mean, when I keep hearing of injuries after the fact, I say to myself, how was not this disclosed? Just by the rules themselves.
Right.
So I question the veracity of the report to begin with, because quite frankly, he didn't look like he didn't look like he tore anything. If he tore something, more than likely he would not be playing football.
Well, yeah.
The big story to me out of that game, when I did my game preview for the Colts-Broncos game, one of the things that struck me was the Broncos' offensive struggles in terms of their passing game, and specifically Peyton Manning's struggles, were contemporaneous to the injuries that occurred to Julius Thomas. And if you actually look at the numbers, you see the complete drop-off on Peyton Manning's part. And I thought Julius Thomas is back, and boom, this guy's back on the saddle. And certainly that first opening drive that the Broncos had, I mean, he threw that really beautiful pass to Julius Thomas that he almost took to the house, which he should have, in my opinion. But that's okay. And after that, boom, the Colts defense locked up. They were playing strict, for the most part, man coverage, and the Broncos couldn't beat it. They couldn't beat it.
The Colts defense was amazing.
Amazing.
They played out of their minds.
Out of their minds.
They played absolutely out of their minds yesterday.
Out of their minds.
Going to the Peyton Manning thing, yesterday was kind of sad watching that game, because I know he still had a really good season, and it just looked like he wasn't. It looked like age caught up with him during one game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was kind of sad, like watching him. He did not seem anything like the Peyton Manning that we've been watching over the last 17 seasons. And one of the biggest plays that was eye-opening to me was that 3rd down and 2, where he had 30 yards in front of him to run for the first down, and he still tried to force a pass. To me, that doesn't seem like the Peyton Manning who was easily one of the smartest players in the history of this game, as far as being able to read defenses and situations, to not just take a quick little 2-3 yard jaunt. I mean, it could be the leg injury, but I don't know. It just seemed like he wasn't firing on all cylinders. I mean, I don't know if it was just me, but
no, I don't think it was Peyton Manning at all. I really think it was the Colts defense.
Well,
they were up in his grill, and you could see the man coverage. They let Emmanuel Sanders in man coverage slide down to the safety, so they would get double coverage on him, or bracket coverage, and Manning couldn't hit him. Yeah. I mean, for him to put it in the safe place was to overthrow him.
You don't want to take anything away from the Colts, but Peyton Manning has the last second half of the season, his arm strength has not been there. I've said it multiple times. And
hey, you're basing that on your cockamamie.
No, I'm basing it on what I watch, and you can see that ball floats. And players asked whether or not they felt Peyton would be back. Broncos players were telling the press that he threw more picks in practice the last 6 weeks of the season, that he just didn't look like number 18. In practice, in practice, this is. Now, I don't fault the guy. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to beat up on the guy. He's in his late 30s. He had major neck surgery. You know, it's going to catch up eventually.
Here's the thing.
I think one of the biggest things that is going to keep Peyton from coming back, and why I think he was wavering on the question yesterday, and they had discussed this yesterday with the potential of them losing their offensive coordinator to a head coaching position. Losing John Fox, if they lose their offensive coordinator, that means at his age he has to start fresh with a new coach, a new system. I don't know if he's going to want to do that. Because right now, their division and the way the Colts are picking up steam in the AFC, it's going to be really, really difficult for them to make it back to the Super Bowl in the next couple seasons. So to me, I'm wondering if just the loss of Fox is going to make a huge play and if Peyton comes back or not.
No, honestly, if they promote Gase, that'll be an easy transition, I would think. No?
Yeah, I agree with you, Keith, if they do. But if they don't, I think it's 70-30 that Peyton Manning is done with professional football.
I agree.
Wow.
I agree. Because he had a hard time. He had said before that he didn't really enjoy learning a new system when he first got to Denver after playing in the same system for so long in Indy. And now at his age, having to go through another change again, if they do clean house completely, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to go through all that at his age. And there's also a couple big free agents with, I think one of the Thomases with Demarius is a free agent this season. Yeah. So, if they lose any of that talent, I think it could be the end of Peyton Manning's career, which I hope it is, to be honest. I don't want to see him pull a Dan Marino and have like a off year be his last year. He had a solid year this season, lost to a very good, very young Colts team. I would rather see him go out somewhat on top than to have any kind of decline.
Mm-hmm. This really is about whether Peyton Manning wants to play football. If he still feels like he's got something to contribute, he wants to get out there, play football, do his thing, yeah, I think he'll play again. And some team out there will pick him up, even if it's just for a season, just to tutor one of their younger players. Right? Why not? Mm-hmm. But if he doesn't want to, whether it's because he doesn't want to go into work anymore or he just doesn't want to deal with a new offensive coordinator, then he's done.
I wonder what that meeting was like today in Denver, because the headline said, or the call out on the bottom of the ESPN ticker there said that John Fox and Broncos mutually agree to part ways. So it was like having a post-season meeting, and they just rip into him, and I could just see Fox standing up, like flipping a chair over and saying, "Go to hell," and walk out. Yeah, we mutually agreed.
I don't think he's that kind of guy.
Yeah, I would be. Absolutely. The guy wins, he won 4 divisions, right, while he was there?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think he understands better than anybody that results are what matter. And the result, they go to the Super Bowl, they lose that, and here they are. They get basically blown out by a team in their one and done by a younger quarterback with a lesser defense, and you could even argue a lesser offense. They should have won that game, and it was at home. Mm-hmm. At home.
Yep.
So I could see them. I could see Fox sitting there saying, I don't agree. In a way, I don't feel like I deserve it. But you know what? It is the life that I've chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, you think about it. This is the second out of 3 seasons with Peyton Manning they were one and done in the playoffs. Because that first year when they lost to was Baltimore. Mm-hmm. So that is tough.
Yeah. We're talking about coaching carousels and everything, and there was something a point that I wanted to bring up about the Bears, possible head coach and possible staff. That I'm sorry to jump around, but I really want your guys' take on it. I was tweeting with Benjamin Albright last night about possible offensive coordinators if the Bears hire a defensive focused head coach. And there's not really a lot of names out there right now. But one name that he brought up, because he's not an offensive coordinator right now, is Scott Linehan, who's been coaching Tony Romo in Dallas right now. And what they did in Dallas, I've been saying since about week 5, is what the Bears should have been modeling.